Hi guys, TJ here. I've had such an amazing day today with this bike. So it's finally the end of the day of our track test here at Sevilla, Spain. After a whole day of travel, I have finally arrived in Sevilla, Spain after 3 flights and hours of travel. We're here with our driver. What's your name?
David.
David. Hola, David.
Hola.
Buen días. It was great to be picked up by Ducati and finally checked in at our hotel in the small town of Carmona. I took the opportunity to take a look around this cute little town and go for an early dinner at the hotel, as the next day we were going on a big day of riding. The next day I was greeted by a very cold morning as we headed out to get onto the track. It was just a short drive away until we arrived at the newly opened Sevilla circuit.
At the international press launch of the new Ducati Panigale V2.
The morning started out with a short intro about the new bike and all its new features. We're lucky to have as well Ducati Vice President Francesco Melicia here, as well as all the engineers behind the design of this new bike. So here's our bike for today. So we're in the S model. Ciao. Ciao. With all of that out of the way, it's finally time for my favorite part. Let's go riding. It was really nice to use this super light Panigale V2. So this Panigale V2 is actually the lightest Ducati Panigale that we have now. So it's actually at 176 kilos in stock trim for this S model, and actually 169 kilos for the track version. So this bike actually has the new platform of Ducati. So this allows the bike to be 17 kilos lighter than the old Panigale V2. It was actually really nice to ride this bike today, as I actually started my riding career on Panigale 899, the middleweight sibling of this bike. Obviously now I'm racing the V4R Panigale, and it's really interesting that the two bikes share very similar characteristics, yet they are also unique in their own way. What I really liked about this bike was that it was so easy and nimble to ride on this track. This track, it's very interesting as we also have a very tight section towards the end of the lap. And it was very easy to change direction on this bike. What's really nice about this new engine from Ducati is that, yes, you may have a little bit less horsepower at the top, but all of the torque, pretty much 70% of the torque is available from 3,000 RPM. So pretty much the minute you get rolling on any corner, you have pretty much all of the torque that you may need at the twist of your wrist. This bike was equipped with all-in suspension, so we had all-in front fork in the front. We have an all-in shock in the rear, and we also had an adjustable steering damper. If you wanted to ride it on the street, it has a more comfortable riding position with a little bit more raised handlebar. The pegs to the seat are pretty much the right amount of gap, and it was really comfortable to ride this bike. So we also have the shotgun style exhaust here in the back. There's also a Termignoni exhaust available for this bike, and also rear sets and mirror delete in the track kit. An interesting feature of this bike is that we actually have air ventilation ducts here. You'll see here that you can have air coming into the rider to keep you cool. So especially if you're riding in Manila, this is something that I'm super excited to test when I get back home. Some creature comforts of this bike are that you have now the cruise control, we have turn-by-turn navigation, and we also have the capability to add a TPMS. So these are things that, for me, make it a very interesting bike, especially if you plan to ride it on the street. So I was actually quite surprised that with this riding position with the bars a little bit higher, was actually still very comfortable, yet aggressive enough for the track. Another positive about this position is that in the braking, this bike really stops so well. It was very easy to get on the brakes, and I really had a good feeling with the front tire. I think for general street and some track riding, this would be like the ideal setup. Let's address the elephant in the room. We have the double-sided swing arm. One good thing about this swing arm is that it's a little bit lighter. In turn, you make the bike a little bit easier to steer side to side. So what a good way to end the day. We had a really beautiful track here with a super lightweight, beautiful bike. I'm really looking forward to putting more kilometers on this bike when I get home, on the track and on the street.